Hey folks, what I wanted to do is quickly give you just an overview comparison between Search Console and Analytics. I do a lot of speaking on online marketing and SEO, and I get this question a lot. What is the difference and why do you need both of them? So I'm going to give you an overview. It's a quick video, not in-depth. If you have questions about any in-depth part of Search Console versus Analytics and how you use them in SEO, you can ask me that in the comments or email me on my website, either way. Okay, let's get started. So this is the Search Console overview. This is the first screen you come to. When they first went to this, it was a little bit cumbersome, which Google tools can have some cumbersomeness to them. But all you do here is open the report. That gets you to the first page. This will give you a total of your clicks over the time period that we're talking about. This comes from the end of April till today, or probably yesterday is more like it. So we're going to open the report. You're going to get this screen. So total clicks, total impressions, average click-through rate, average position. This is obviously clicks. Impressions is a little misleading because it feels like, oh, I got 102,000 impressions. But what all that means is that you return on a search return page, okay? And you can see the gigantic difference between clicks and impressions, that really doesn't matter that much. One of the KPIs you want to look at, just as a side note, is how to increase the clicks per impressions. Now, I'm not going to get into that too much, but what you really want to pay attention to is title tags and meta description, and that will grow your click-through rate. You can see the average click-through rate. This is the average of all your pages of how many times people clicked through. Now, that's a little misleading in itself. I'll show you in a second what you need to look for in that. Then average position is just the average position on search return pages for each one of all of your pages, but it's all stacked together and averaged. So if you've got 10 on page 1, 10 on page 10, and 10 not ranked at all, your average position is going to be in the 50s. Okay, so that is just a very loose definition of what we're talking about. Now, as you scroll down, you're going to see a nice little bank of information. Volume is how many people search in a month for this query. Okay, so they typed in, you visited this page on 10 times last month. CPC is what they average, what they estimate that it's worth. The competition, nobody's competing for it. Very high click-through rate. This is a total accident on my side, by the way. Totally side story. So mobile optimization statistics, no volume, no competition, no value, 11 clicks, 106 impressions. Now, what you'll notice is there is no page position on here. A weird little quirk is if I click on average page position, now I come down here, position is now in place. Okay. Now, what's really useful is each one of these are sortable until you get over here to volume. You can do clicks, impressions, and position. What that means is if I click this, I'm going to go to the bottom position. Click it again, I'm going to go to the top. So it starts with everything that's on page 1. This is really useful because you can link from your page 1 pages and pass link juice onto weaker pages. So another side note, if you don't understand that, you can ask me. I'll do a tutorial video on it. One of the things you want to do if you have a lot of pages is sort these by 100. So you'll get a lot more flexibility in how you can use it. So you can see I have to go way down here to get to page 2. Position 10 is the bottom of page 1. 11 is the top of page 2. There's 10 returns per SERP page. And then you'll go 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30. Make sense? Okay, so that's about all I'm going to cover, except I did tell you I was going to talk about that click-through rate. So let me show you this. So let's sort this by clicks. I'm going to go highest to lowest. What you'll find is right down here you get down to the ones and the zeros, okay? So at this point, this is what I have, and it's the total average click-through rate. So you can see all the way down here, that there are no clicks all the way down through this area of the site, meaning that all these pages do not have any click. Nobody's clicking on them. So when I have an average click-through rate of 0.6%, half of a percent, meaning out of 100 people, half of a person is clicking. Now, obviously, that's not true because we have all these bigger numbers. So what you really want to do is take all of your clicks and divide them over these pages with clicks, if that makes sense. So if you started from here, you went to the top, you might have 20 total queries that have clicks. Okay, all the other queries do not have clicks. Then add all those up, then divide them. Well, you already have the addition because you already have total 580. But let's say this was 20, then your average click-through rate is now divided over 20 pages instead of how many other pages you actually have. I have about 130 total pages. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, if it doesn't, ping me in the comments or email me and I will show you. So let's get back to the overview comparison. Search Console versus Google Analytics. You'll see a very marked difference when you look at analytics. This is what the home page of analytics, when you open up analytics, this is what it's going to look like. Okay. So now what we want to do is go to audience. This is what I consider the real home screen. This is the audience overview. This is going to give me a lot of good information. Now, this shows over a week, 20th through 30th, well, 10 days. That's what it's showing right now. It's just because I did a search just a little bit ago, but normally it shows the last week. So it's going to show maybe the 23rd through the 30th or 24th through the 30th. It's going to show that traffic. This shows your clicks per day. Then you get down into all this. So this is sessions, users, page views, pages per session, average session duration, bounce rate, new sessions. Okay. So users is the first number I want to look at. Now, why isn't that in the first position? I don't know. Google has their reasons. I'll just say that. So I've got users. This is how many unique users there were. So a guy named Bob came to my site. He's one of the 147 users. Now, the way they're dividing it with sessions is how many times Bob came to the site. There's 147 people, but some of those people came to the site more than once. Okay? Then you have page views. So that metric is how many pages total were viewed. So then I know that I've got just about what I was going to say is 1.67 pages per session. Okay, so 168 people came to my site. On average, they viewed 1.5 pages, 1.5 pages. Average session duration is 1:24. Bounce rate's pretty high. New sessions is pretty high. I'll get into bounce rate in a minute. That's a pretty high bounce rate, but there are some specific reasons for it that actually, if those things are happening, they're not too bad. If you blog a whole lot and you're getting blog pages ranked, you will see your bounce rate jump. And I'll get into that in a second when we start looking at some of these. This is a big one. You just really want to just give this a quick glance. What you really want to look for is you have some big spikes in non-English speaking countries or non-American countries if you are not marketing to that. So this is Czech. If I'm not marketing into the Czech area and I suddenly have 100 or 200 visit spike from there, I want to understand that. If you ever see that happening, like from Russia, the Eastern Europe bloc specifically, you really want to double down on your security because you're probably about to get hacked. So that's just a side note. Let's take a look at some deeper dive. The main thing that I'm using analytics for right now, there's a lot here. You can see that each one of these have their own drop down. I am nowhere near advanced in all of these areas. I will tell you what I mainly use Google Analytics for is this little fella down here, behavior flow. Now you have to go to this behavior flow. You have to come down to behavior and this behavior flow. Here's why. When you're in audience, because it's Google and Google does what they want, nobody's the boss of them, you have this other thing called users flow. And users flow is a little different. I like behavior flow. It helps me a little bit better. It gives me a little bit better information. but I can dive into the difference between user and behavior flow at a different time. For now, let's take a look at this real quick. This is what makes analytics really, really useful. And it's pretty accurate. I've done some tracking on it, having people go through and do exactly what I asked them to do, then dial down to that exact day and time. And I can see that it's pretty accurate, pretty closely. It mirrored what they did. So I've never seen Google Analytics go beyond 12 interactions. So I don't believe that it does. I could be wrong on that. Some people that analyze some bigger sites could probably tell you. But for now, I'm going to go on that assertion. So you'll see here what's going on. This is the first set of pages that people come into your site on. Okay. So when you see this slash with nothing behind it, that's your home page. That also you could see when you mouse over it, it has 13 pages listed. You can see that right up there, right below the dash. 8 through traffic, 41 drop-offs, 49 sessions. Now for your home page, that's a lot of drop-offs. That probably means one of two things. Number one, I'm suddenly getting a lot of traffic to my home page, which means probably I'm doing some link building, which I happen to be link building right now. So new people are coming to the site through some links. I need to look at maybe some better conversion tools to get them off of the homepage and into the site. Why are they coming? You have to face the facts of human behavior. A lot of people are going to come to your site just because they talk to you. Oh, I'm going to check out a site. Oh, cool. I saw the homepage. I'm out. They're not they're not even tire kicking. They're just checking you out. That's it. If you do a lot of work on LinkedIn, this will happen a lot. People go ping your site and they're out. They don't go to any deeper pages. So you want to try to put some bells and whistles on there to get them off the homepage, get them to sign up for an email list, roll some different A/B testing tools through on your homepage above the fold. So if there are people that do want to go any deeper on your site, they can do that. But let's look a little deeper on this. You can see here my highest page visit count is 29, and it's on my mobile statistics page. You can see here that one person left it. Now, that's good and bad. Obviously, you want more than one person to come off that page, but they went to this other blog post so I kind of want to see, where did this person go, right? So let's take a look at it real quick. One of the things you can do that I really love is you can track that visitor all the way through your website. Now, whoever this person was is awesome because they went all over the place. And they were one, it looks like, yeah, they were one of the 12 that went all the way to the end of this transaction list, and probably they went deeper. So let's go back very quickly and take a look at all the pages they looked at. What can I learn from this? What's it telling me? So it went to the goal setter, go getter. They went back to the mobile page and back to goal setter, go getter. Now, why would somebody do that? Because they're clicking out of the page they came in on to this new blog post in this case, then clicking back, then clicking forward. So most likely they saw something on this that made them go, oh, I want to go check that statistic again. Bam, they go check the statistic. Then they're back to their original page. Now they went to another blog post, then another blog post, then another blog post, then another blog post, then a page. Then this is really important. I titled this page for this very reason. Do I need SEO? Okay. I did that so that every time I see somebody come to this page, I know that at least the idea was interesting enough for them to click on it. So when now I've got somebody who went deep, read, or at least um, spent some time on about half a dozen blog posts. Then in here, it's a little more opaque. They could have gone back to this, what do you want? They didn't read either one of these two blog posts, so they equally could have gone to any of these. All right, sorry for the cough break there. I want to take a look, before we shut this down, I want to take a look at month over month with Google Analytics versus Search Console. So just what you'll see. It's not a one versus the other one. You really need both. And hopefully this will help you understand why. So what I want to do here is compare month over month. So to do that, I'm going to start back a month. You can see that now that this bumps over to the next one because it intuitively goes, well, you want to know from one month to the next what you're doing. So now I click this little compare, and all right, so you can see here that it just pops in the previous month. That's a really useful tool. Now you can drop this down and go previous year. If you're doing year over year work, that's really great. Quarter over quarter is really helpful. We're about to enter the final quarter. We're about to go into August, which September obviously starts the final quarter. Well, no, October, sorry. But you can go quarter over quarter. You can analyze season over season. You can go analyze how your holiday traffic drops off after Christmas. So, like if you wanted to go December, January, February, you could take a look at your comparison year over year. There's a lot of useful comparisons in here. But I just want to show you what this does when you do this. So you can see an overview here. You get all this information in here. Now, what's cool about it is it continues throughout the use of the site. It'll continue to do this until you remove that filter. So now what I'm getting here is my insights, and I'm getting up and down percentages from month over month. So this page right here had 126% increase month over month. So I want to check that out. That's obviously great. This is 72% increase, 45% increase. All these spikes I can look at, and I can very quickly tell what's going on with my marketing. Okay, so I can tell you just as a little peek behind the curtain. I did some work on my social media FAQ page to increase it in relevance and pass some link juice. And maybe that's a cause, but that's a good place to start. I can see month over month what's been going on. Same thing with my mobile stats page. I updated it, and so I can see maybe that's what's going on. So if I want to understand this a little bit more and make use of it, I might put a little more work into it. Or what I might do is stop there, put the very same amount of work in two other pages that already rank kind of well, and then see how it's going to go. See if I get the same kind of bump from it. Okay, because it could be just a regional or momentary interest in mobile, sudden interest in social. Either one of those things could have driven that. But in either case, most likely it was not independent of the work that I did. So the work that I did paid off. So now let's take a quick look at what 30 days looks like on Search Console. So they're going to give me 28 days. I'll take that. So for the last 30 days, this is what I'm looking like. So dark blue is this one right here, the zigzag a lot. Clicks are going to be the most volatile of all of your measurements. Total impressions stays pretty steady. Average click-through rate is 0.5. Average position is 56.1. So position is down here. Total impressions is here. Number of clicks is this real volatile one. One of the things you want to see is kind of human behavior porpoising. So what you want to see is this porpoising line, because what that tells you is your usage, your site usage is starting to fall into weekly patterns. What you'll see is every dip here is about a week. 13th, 20th, 27th, 7th. These are almost all exactly a week, these valleys here. Okay? So that's what you want to see. That means your traffic is not random. You're falling into human usage patterns. The same people, the same type of people are beginning to use your site. Little side insight. Our position's already in place because we clicked that earlier. So we've got our categories here, and I can look at, let's start with position. So all these ones, they can be images, just to give you And so it doesn't drive you nuts because you can go see these images here. But even when they're not images, you can still have like statistics. That's not an image, but it probably is an image. Because when I go and look at mobile optimization statistics, I'm not page one, position one. Let's take a look at that real quick. Be cool if I was, but I don't think I am. Okay. Just do a little search to talk through my position. Okay, it is showing me number one. That's great. Let's double check this and see if it repeats on incognito. Now, I'm glad we're doing this right now because that's a really important thing to point out. Anytime you search yourself, Google has remembered that you've already gone to your site, so they're going to return you more often. This is really great. So I'm actually number one. I don't know when that happened. I was like position 7, but something recently has happened. That makes sense uh, why my traffic has increased so much. Let's try social media FAQ. See if that's page 1, position 1, because that jumps gigantically. Nope. I'm on page 1 though, so that's great. That's great. Okay, little learning lesson, a little extra free lesson there. So what we're looking at is the final part of the comparison between analytics and search console. So we're looking at this 30-day period. I can compare this behavior with 198 clicks to this behavior, the behavior flow, right? And remember, we saw this big jump here. We saw this big jump here. I haven't, so you can see that just by looking at our data and doing a little bit of digging on Google itself, I can determine that it's not page position increase most likely that has caused this increase, because that 126 month over month is pretty huge. Now, if I wanted to spend more time, I'd go back and compare quarter over quarter, then 6 months over 6 months, then year over year, all for this page. I want to dig in and find out what's going on with this. Then I want to kind of look out regionally and find out, is there some thing that's going on? Is there a conference that was in town and people were searching for social media marketing and they happen to come across my FAQ page? Those are all questions you could ask about any category of yours that suddenly is jumping. So I want to go ahead and stop here because I promised a short video and I'm probably up around 10 minutes already. But I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and let me know if you have anything that you would like to have asked, um, or just anything you need help with having to do with Google Analytics or Search Console. Thank you so much. Hope this helps.